Hi, this is Emily Aspinwall. I am doing my internship at Forest Hills Global Elementary School. I am in a fifth grade classroom with Miss Wiggins, and this is a little bit about our interview. So, what did you decide to ask your partner teacher and why? I asked a lot of similar questions to what was on the sheet that we were given. I had started to make my own and figured out that they came out to be very similar to the ones that were given to us, and I chose to ask these because I think they're the most kind of significant and basic overview of teaching social studies. It kind of covers all the basics, so I thought they were all pretty significant. Why do your partnerships teachers' answers matter? Miss Wiggins' answers matter to me because she's been teaching in public school for 17 years, in fifth grade for most of it. She's a very passionate and active teacher, and so I think her answers are pretty much what the norm of what a passionate long-term teacher would say. What can you take away from the questions and responses as you move into your internship and first years of teaching? I'm taking away a lot of the tools that she's using, the um, where she gets her like lesson plans from and how she teaches them, and also kind of the ways that she kind of sneakily integrates social studies into other areas and other areas of the core lessons. So the first question, what are your personal beliefs regarding teaching social studies to elementary students? You can read a little bit of the answer that she emailed me, and then we also spoke about this in class a few times, and pretty much her beliefs are teaching social studies from a perspective, like a specific perspective. For example, when I was doing my source analysis, it was on westward expansion, and the only thing that she really asked me to do was to do it from the perspective of someone whose life was altered by expansion and by European settlers. So I chose to do the perspective of Native Americans, um, and she just says that that adds a lot. It's very grounding for people. It becomes meaningful when you teach social studies from like a personal point of view, um, and she likes to look at the perspectives of maybe kind of the people who didn't really quote unquote win or something like that, just kind of the underdog in the situation. What resources are available for you? She said they have a great book room, but that's it. It's up to us to find resources. She uses a lot of the Library of Congress materials that like we've gone over in class, and she's a great connection with a lot of other teachers at other schools, and she's just very connected to tons of people and resources. So she uses a lot from other people and teacher friends. How do you plan your social studies lessons? Since our content follows a timeline, I use that plan. Fifth grade, the social studies goes from the beginning to like I think about to Reconstruction, that era. And so, you can pretty much go in that specific order of, the chronological order of time for that. Um, what are your favorite resources for teaching social studies? And she says, a colleague has lessons from the Teachers Curriculum Institute that are very good. I also use text from the Comprehension Toolkit, which is a source our school has for reading, and also we have Raz Kids where students can listen to texts. So I went into a little bit more detail about these because I saw some of them implemented in class. So the Teachers Curriculum Institute, I am in awe of. I think it's really cool. I watched her teach a really impressive lesson on westward expansion using this, and it's really just a thing where kids can get up and move and kind of like physically put themselves in the shoes of the people that the settlers and then the Native Americans and like indigenous peoples. The lesson that she did, she moved all the desks, and then we put a tape and string map on the floor of the United States, and kids would come in little groups of six and sit in certain areas of the map, and then um, another six kids would come in and kind of kick those kids out of the area, and they would sit there. And then again, another six, and then the kids talked about how they felt about being kicked out of their little area of the map. And then it went on to be about how, which areas were bought and sold to the United States, or, fought and won in chronological order. So first all the kids were in the 13 colonies and they got to move down to, the Louisiana Purchase area and then Florida and then Texas, etc. And then kind of got to see how the indigenous people were pushed out. So again, very heavy on perspective, but also really, really hands-on activities, which was really cool. The curriculum toolkit I did not get to see, but I think this is kind of more of like the basic what you would imagine social studies would be, kind of like worksheets, workbooks, and a lot of discussion and why things are important, and more of like the basics of social studies. Raz Kids, I've seen, this is where she's integrating social studies into lessons. She does a lot of that with ELA to social studies. Um, Raz Kids is interesting. It's just, it's more or less online books where books get read and kind of gone through with kids. And they seem to like it. I don't know that much about it. I've seen them use it. And I mean, they seem engaged, which I guess is the most important. Do you plan to take field trips with strong social studies themes? I heard about this so much in the classroom because every year the fifth graders go to Washington, D.C., and this was the first year that the principal said, no, there's new administration at Forest Hills, and they said it's too much money, and the kids are absolutely heartbroken about this. And then, what is the hardest part about teaching social studies? And she says time. And again, I think that's why she integrates so much stuff into other lessons about social studies. And then, do you have any advice for me? Again, find ways to integrate. So really what I got from this interview is you kind of have to figure out how to put social studies in the classroom because you're not really given time, resources, or great methodology for it. But if you want it, you have to do it yourself. But overall, I thought it was a great interview and a great lesson to learn. Thanks for listening.